I wanted to ask you, what is the Cardano forest?
Yeah, the Cardano forest. Amazing question. So one of the things I said that many times today, huh? I truly believe that the Cardano Foundation should also be spearheading what is actually possible on the Cardano stack today. So as you know, we through Byron, which is the base layer, the network infrastructure, the ADA reserves, initial functions, node wallet, and so on. And that was some time ago. But this year, so the last 12 months, we've gone through Shelly. This was actually the build up the Stakepool operators, the 3,400 Stakepool operators. So the change from the federated network into a distributed block production. And then we are also nearly through Gogan. We can, I think we still, in my personal opinion, we still needed Pluto's application back and so forth. And that basically gives us metadata, multi-currency, and smart contracts. This is really about this integrated custom applications. So we still need Basho and Voltaire. So what we really wanted to do with the Cardano forest was a couple of different things. The first thing what we wanted to do was to show if we use advanced metadata on a token on the Cardano blockchain, how does that actually differentiate from a token issued, let's say, with the ERC20 standard? And what we basically did was that we created a utility token where if you buy one token, you get one, so there's one Veritree token to be specific, that equals one ADA, and that equals one tree, a mangrove tree in Eastern Africa. And that utility token has in the metadata really built in a lot of the regulatory clarity, which you normally would need to go to a centralized platform on. Even on blockchain, you will actually have to go to a centralized website and actually figure out what it is you bought. So there's a lot more data hidden there. And a normal stock, which is traded, shares, right? They actually have about 110 metadata populated points, who's filled in before a bank would even touch it. And when we think about blockchain transactions today and we think about security tokens and so forth, it's very rare that you see that there's this amount of metadata there. And this is one of the key unique value propositions of the Cardano blockchain. Our ability to have enterprise-grade metadata on-chain and off-chain and the combination of those. The second thing what we wanted to do was we wanted to show how powerful the community really is. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that there's a value gap between private blockchains and public permissionless blockchains. Because a blockchain like Cardano, we give away all the source code, all the academic research, everything is basically there for free. So to the level we are at, you can copy paste that and have exactly the same level of technology today. By giving all of that away, it's very hard to put a price on what is the Cardano ecosystem worth. What is the protocol worth? And if you have a private blockchain, you protect all of that. It's patented, it's intellectual property right, and so forth. So the value proposition of Cardano is not the technology stack, because everybody can get to that exact level straight away. But the value proposition is a combination of several factors. But the largest one is how many people trust Genesis key and what comes after that to build, run, and drive enterprise applications, digital ID, and governance on that, and trust that this is a part of a new generation, which we call blockchain citizens, who's ready to take over control of their lives and the societies which they live in to create a much more agnostic and fair world, really. That's the value. We have around 2 million people who wake up every morning and the first thing they say is Cardano. We wanted to see, okay, if we would offer an impact token together with Veritree, without IOG or the foundation being the lead investor, could we get to, let's say, 200,000 trees, 300,000 trees, 1 million trees? And I haven't checked today, but I believe we are around 350,000 trees, which I think is absolutely amazing. And that actually makes us, depending on which factors you're looking at, it's very hard to say, but it really reduces the carbon footprint of an already very green blockchain. And you need a bit more statistics and scientific rigor around that.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Being completely
actually,
net neutral. We planted all the trees and now we're good.
Yeah, and more importantly than that also, which I think is important as well, right? But these trees are going to be mangrove trees, which is planted in a delta in Africa, where most of the fishermen has gone away. And now with these mangrove trees, the roots go out in the water, and the fish come back, right? Means the fishermen can come back and they can actually start, fishing, and they can sell those fish. So it drives, an economic cycle. It's a circle of life really for that area. And hopefully we would hope that when they then think about the Cardano forest standing there with, as many trees as possible, please go in and check out the Very Tree project.
I'll have a link for that down below.
Yeah. That they also start thinking about, what about, can I get my identity there? And what else can I do on that blockchain who created that Cardano forest? And last but not least, we wanted to show what does a blockchain-based supply chain look like. And when you think about all the, from the part that you have a fiat or you have ADA to the part that a tree is planted, how can you actually downstream really show that we are, even without smart contracts, do large scale supply chain solutions on a blockchain? And there's a lot about digital identity, metadata, and all those things which need to actually add up. And this has been one of those use cases which people have been crying around in blockchain for ages. We've now done that totally without smart contracts. And when we're now adding smart contracts to it, it's going to be even more beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So there was a couple of things we wanted to do about that, which obviously has some sustainability to it, but also very technical driven, and very much around the beauty of the Cardano ecosystem.
Yeah, and you even worked with community members, to build out this project. The creator of Stellar Hood, and it wasn't just a Cardano Foundation effort. You worked with existing NFT creators in the community, which I think that meant a lot.
Stakepool operators as well. Yeah. We reached out to the Stakepool operators as well, and there's this whole group of impact Stakepool operators and net. I always get it wrong. And net zero carbon funds and stuff like that. Yeah, I know it was actually I would like to say we probably initiated and gave some power to it, but this was really a community-driven project.
Yeah, and it feels that way. And, all of your goals with this project, I felt were accomplished. I woke up one morning and, it was when I got back from the summit and I finally heard about it. And, my company, Bloom, we planted 5,000 trees using the Cardano blockchain in what 20 seconds is the transaction, time to finalize. That's it's very cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. I mean, I'm also a bit biased, right? Because I really like it, right? But
me as well. I like trees and I like Cardano. So
yeah, but I think it shows a lot more. And I think, unfortunately, maybe one of the things we did a little bit wrong here is we really wanted to do this at the Cardano Summit. And there was 132 projects like this who was announced at the Cardano Summit, and I think that was just too much,
Yeah, I missed this. I missed this for 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks from getting back from the summit to then hear about this. And I essentially, because I was there in person and really talking to people more than paying attention, I had to consume all of that after everyone else did, Yeah. Which I thought, do you actually own any NFTs yourself?
I do actually, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the NFT community on Cardano has been thriving. And I think those 2 million people waking up every day, the NFTs have definitely been helping that. Which I'm very excited.
Actually, we also we identified that there's a SIP out there, so a Cardano Improvement Proposal, who is actually setting forward some ideas for some standards around NFTs. And one of the things we're doing at the foundation right now is we're actually building an NFT backend, because it can be quite hard to have interoperability for NFT platforms. So if you have a Cardano NFT and you want to swap that from a platform to another platform and so forth, it's actually quite hard. And so what we're doing right now is we're building an API-driven backend, which will allow some standardization based on the community-driven SIP, to allow these platforms to basically hook into that and get the necessary standardization to have this swapping going on, so the Cardano NFTs gets much more wide out into the Cardano ecosystem, but also can jump beyond that into some of the other ecosystems where there is a bridge in between. So we think the first step is really this NFT API backend, And there's coming a few marketplaces here in the next, hopefully in the next couple of months from community, which is going to build on that already.